And we are live. Hello, all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to a very welcome to another rendition of the Six Sided Scholars, your TNA pay per view post show breakdown here at BC WrestlePod. Of course, my name is Mikey. I am the leader, El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. I run the ones and twos, and I corral a whole group of individuals to talk about professional wrestling. And as you can see, it's just me tonight, but we're still going to go in strong with all of this as I will be breaking down TNA's No Surrender. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, Mikey, this pay per view was last week. Why are you reviewing it and breaking it down now? Well, usually, and what we decided to do going into 2026 is TNA likes to do a lot of their TNA Plus special pay-per-views, the B shows, if you will, on Fridays. So, and that's normally when we break it down the regular TNA episode each week. And so that is why we always end up doing these Friday specific pay per views the following week. So not only does it give everybody time to watch it, but everybody time to get their notes in order and to digest their feelings because there was a lot of things that went down at TNA No Surrender that I have lots of questions about going into Sacrifice, which is the next pay per view all the way at the end of March. So, before we get into No Surrender, kind of to get the opening bits out of the way, if you're new here to BC WrestlePod or you've been rocking with us for a while, you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, where for all of our live streams. And YouTube is where you can also find the edited versions of these shows as they go on, and they go up the following day every time, at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But we also have our social medias if you're looking for something that is a little bit more manageable. And you can find us at BC WrestlePod, where we have our prediction forms, our report cards for the weekly shows, previews of what's going down on a lot of these US based shows that we see on TV every week, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. So come on over and say hi. You can follow us on all the social medias listed on the screen right now. And we also have some merchandise at our shop, BC WrestlePod shop.fourthwall.com. And we have merch for all of our weekly shows that we do every week. And the international brands will be coming to you very soon this weekend, which is very exciting stuff. Last but certainly not least, we pay for a lot of these pay per view streaming services to watch all this wrestling we cover, and we still shell out money for pay per views of certain companies. So if you feel inclined to help keep these things going for us, please think about donating to the coffee bot that will be popping up in chat throughout this review, but no pressure because you all are important to us and we know times are really tough on everyone. So only if you're financially able to and want to, please consider donating. But if not, just hang out with us and we're going to have a good time. Alrighty. With that out of the way, let's get into No Surrender. My thoughts on this whole pay per view, and I'm going to start out with this statement and then I'm going to kind of bring it back around again at the very end. I do believe that No Surrender was a mixed bag. There were some really good moments, but there was also some moments where, once again, as a TNA fan, I just throw my head against the wall with some of the decision making that TNA is doing. But I do not work for Anthem. I do not work for TNA. I'm still going to watch it week to week because I love the talent that's there. But No Surrender definitely set up some weird directions that we're heading into, honestly. So, well, let us get into it, shall we? So I'm going to start off with the countdown show where we had two matches. The first one being that Sinner and Saint were in action. So really excited to see Sinner and Saint back in TNA. The last time we saw them is when they kind of made Eric Young lose his match and got a one over on him. And so the boys are back. So Travis Williams and Judas Icarus are here fantastic stuff. And they took on the team of Brad Attitude and TW3. This essentially was the wash match. This was more so to show that Sarah and Saint are back on TNA. And I thought this was a pretty solid return match for the two of them. Nothing to write home about, but I'm really happy to see Sinner and Saint not only win in this match, but also to be back in TNA and kind of mixing it up with everyone. Because let me tell you, this men's tag team division definitely needs the help. So again, nothing to write home about, but I really enjoyed this one. Now, this next countdown show match is where I kind of started to figure that this night was going to go off the rails in a lot of places. So originally scheduled, we were supposed to see Ryan Nemeth in action. And that's actually what we were originally going to get because Ryan Nemeth was scheduled to face returning Alan Angels, which I love Alan Angels. I'm sad that he left TNA, but it's nice to see him back doing, you know, a pre-show countdown show match. But we don't even get the match because Frankie Kazarian comes out and we have like an impromptu king speech. So Ryan Nemeth's like, hey, I still get paid even if I don't get to wrestle. So he doesn't mind leaving. But Alan Angels does not like that Frankie Kazarian is taking a match away for him. Whew, excuse me. It's been a long day. Which then leads into an impromptu match between Frankie Kazarian and Alan Angels. Frankie Kazarian ends up winning with the chicken wing. Um, I don't know what we're doing with Frankie. I mean, he lost the rematch against Mike Santana at Genesis, and I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing with Frankie. I don't know where the storyline goes for him. Him and Daria Ray are kind of interacting with each other on screen, and I don't understand what the next direction or the next story beat is for Frankie. So, also, it's really weird to see that Ryan Nemeth is still in good spirits, given the fact that Mara Sade ultimately won their feud in that Albuquerque street fight. But again, consistency in TNA is hit or miss. But I was a little bummed that we didn't get to see Alan a proper match between Alan Angels and not Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth. And yeah, I'm really worried about where we're going with Frankie because I don't know where we're going with him, what story direction is going to happen. But again, time will tell, and we will continue to report the developments here every Friday for our TNA break post show. All right, now that we got the countdown out of the way, let's get into the main card where we kick things off with a knockouts battle royale. The winner will ultimately get a future TNA Knockouts World title match at some point. I had so many questions because technically Danny Luna, who was supposed to face Laying Lee at Genesis, couldn't get her match because, of visa issues and Danny being stuck into the UK along with, Leon Slater and also the Canadian talent was also not faring too well as well. So I was thinking that, oh, Danny Luna's gonna come in, she's gonna win. Danny Luna did not appear in this this knockouts battle royale, and so I'm trying to figure out. So is Danny not gonna get her match at all? And that's concerning to me, and that doesn't bode well for everything. But this knockouts battle royale is pretty much this is all these are all the knockouts or the women on our roster that aren't involved in matches already. So let's put them in this knockouts battle royale. And so we ended up getting a lot of people. So to kind of give you the rundown of everybody who was in this match in particular. So we had Elena Black, Tessa Blanchard, Mila Moore, Victoria Crawford, Mara Sade, Rosemary, Jada Stowe, Tasha Steeles, Harley Hudson, and then ultimately the person who would win this match and a returning Jody Threat. Now listen, I love Jody Threat with all my heart, and I am really happy that she ended up winning this match by eliminating Tessa Blanchard. It was really poetic. It was really, really fun. But again, I'm still trying to figure out where Danny Luna fits into this because of what happened later in the show. I'm wondering if Danny's gonna get her match. When is Jody gonna get hers? Is Jody gonna face for the title at Sacrifice? Is it gonna be at one of the TV tapings? What is gonna happen? But I am happy to see um I'm really happy to see Jody Threat back. They fixed the visa issues, and I'm really happy that she won because I think Jody is great. But I'm gonna be completely honest, and this is just the cynical person in me, the cynical wrestling fan. Jody right now is just a vehicle into this feud. But spoiler alert, granted, who walked out as the knockouts, world champion after that match. I honestly don't know what the plans are or what the story is going forward. But congratulations to Jody Threat. She ended up walking out the winner of this Knockouts Battle Royale. And honestly, this was a pretty decent start for the main card of No Surrender. After this match, though, we get into our first championship bout of the night. This is for the TNA International Championship. This is the current champ going into this match, NXT star Stacks, taking on TNA's Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel received this opportunity by winning a briefcase and Feaster Fired a couple weeks ago. And inside his briefcase, it had a international championship match. Now, I had said this with Radio Free Will last Friday when we did our predictions for No Surrender. Given the fact that both Stax and Ariana Grace, both from NXT, were in championship matches on this card, I knew that some shenanigans were about to go down because I had said and I had predicted that it's going to depend. Whoever if Stax wins, then Ariana's losing. If Stax loses, then Ariana unfortunately is going to win her match. And that was and I hated either option because I'll get into it a little bit more when we talk about the knockouts title, but I don't understand what having the NXT stars hold these TNA championships does for TNA. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. Now, as far as the match itself goes, I was there was some weird there was some weird celebrity placement, if you want to call it celebrity. Like we had Teddy Swims, singer Teddy Swims accompany Trey Miguel down to the ring. I think Teddy is from Tennessee, which is cool and everything. I do like Teddy. I do think that his music is not for everyone. I do appreciate some of his songs, but he's not really an artist that I listen to on a lot. But I don't think he's inherently bad. But besides that, there was some really weird celebrity stuff. Now, as far as the match itself goes, I thought this was solid. Definitely Trey carrying Stacks through this just a tiny bit. And I thought this is a really decent match. Now, was this a pay-per-view worthy match in my opinion? Not necessarily. I think that this was felt more like a TNA Thursday match, but I still thought it was a pretty fun match nonetheless. And by the end of this, Trey Miguel is able to pull it off, and he is your new TNA International Champion. So on the one hand, I was really happy for Trey. I know it's been a really weird and rough month for him, but having him being international champion is great. I look forward to seeing where his championship reign goes. But on the flip side, I had a very, very large knot in my stomach because of the fact that Trey won and he took the title off of Stacks. I was even more scared that Ariana was about to win and take the TNA Knockouts Championship back to NXT again. And we're going to get into that when we get there because we got some other matches to talk about. So, once again, really happy for Trey Miguel. I'm excited that he is the new TNA International Champion, and he was able to successfully defend it against Stacks this past Thursday in a rematch. And so, I'm really happy for Trey, and I'm excited to see where he goes with this title reign. So we get a little bit of a promo. AJ Francis comes out and talks, crap into the Nashville crowd and calls out Jelly Roll for some reason. Jelly Roll is also there, and AJ wants to fight Jelly Roll. And I was just like, "Okay." It is what it is. I didn't really care for this much, but it was a thing that happened. Moving on. In an unscheduled match that wasn't officially made until like the countdown and going into the main card, we have Mance Warner taking on, Action and Mike Jackson. I know Action Mike very long has popped up in GCW a couple of times. And I was like, okay, where are we going with this? Mance wins. I mean, this was not a barn burner per se. What I do appreciate though is that it seems that we are kind of slowly turning Mance Warner babyface because Mance and Steph show, respect to Mike Jackson at the end of the match. They shake hands, they hold up each other's arms in celebration. So the match itself was nothing really to write home about. But what I do like is that, okay, we are doing stuff with Mance. We are heading him and Steph into a more like tweener or face position. So I'm excited to see this for Mance. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm just really happy to see Steph Delander and Mance Warner on my screen and them actually getting used in some capacity because it's they've been missing for a while, but I'm really happy to see them. Alrighty. So after this match though, so I can't even say if this match is good. I will put it this way. I think this match was serviceable. It was really decent. My issue is because these are really the only two knockout tag teams we have, and not even the original Angel Warriors, because Indy is not the normal tag team partner for Zaya Brookside, because Zaya normally teams up with Laying Lee, and they are the Angel Warriors, but because Laying Lee has her match later on in the night, Indy Hartwell has beef with the Elegance brand, and so match was made for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. I will say this: Heather Elegance and Maggie Lee, I think, are really great wrestlers. They are so freaking fantastic, and I like Zaya and Indy, but I already knew the Elegance brand was not losing these titles anytime soon, and lo and behold, they are still the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. And so we're really hurting in the Knockouts Tag Team division because we really don't have a Knockouts Tag Team division. Like we are running low on women tag teams in TNA. So I don't know what we're gonna do to fix all that because otherwise we're gonna continue to watch the Elegance brand and the Angel Warriors fight over these titles. So again, is fine. It was serviceable. The Elegance brand are still your champions. You know what? I was very surprised. I thought this was a pretty good match, and actually, this was probably one of my top 3 matches of the night, not gonna lie. So we get BDE versus Eric Young. This match has been set up because Eric Young wants BDE to join him in the cleanse. Still hate that name, but it is what it is. BDE says no, and he's not going to have anyone talk or answer for him. So Eric Young needs to, show this young whippersnapper, so to speak, that he needs to come to the light. This is a really solid match. I think there is something special with BDE. Every time I see him on my screen and wrestle in TNA, I'm becoming a little bit more and more of a fan of BDE. I do think that he has a couple of places that he can improve on, like a little bit of the pacing of his, in-ring psychology. But at the same time, I'm really, really happy to see BDE, and I'm actually becoming a fan of his. Eric Young, me and Radio Will, we talked about this last week that everything that is happening, I was like, I'm kind of digging this story. Now, fa to spoil it, Eric Young does beat BDE and wins this match. But I want to talk about what happened a little bit on the Thursday episode because Eric Young still in this mentality of calling out the false prophets of TNA has called out Leon Slater for the X Division Championship, saying that he's going to be a shill for WWE and not rep TNA. And I was like, damn, we are using actual real life stuff because it's kind of true. Leon Slater has been shown on NXT and WWE television a lot more recently than in TNA, where he is an X Division champion. So, and Eric Young gets an X Division championship match due to thanks to Feasted Fired. So, that is the path for him. BDE is now teaming up with Rich Swann, which is cool, I guess, but I want a little bit more for him and Rich. But this match was really, really solid. I actually really enjoyed this. And again, like I said, this is one of my top 3 matches of the night. And Eric Young picks up the victory and he continues on the road to whatever the cleanse is, which is nuts. Oh boy. Okay, so this is where the point of contention comes in. So I am very sad that my other co-host Papa Oso is not here because he had lots of things to say about this one. So I am going to try to do justice to it, and then I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit. We have a TNA Knockouts World Championship match in which we have the champion Lei Lee taking on NXT star Ariana Grace. Okay. I want to start with the positives because it's not on. I don't want to be all negative here. Ariana looked really good in this match. I think this she had some really stellar work. I actually think this is probably one of the better matches that she's had over the last year. I know she's still wrestling and picking up the business, so to speak. And Lang Lee, I think, is also really fun to watch. Now, as soon as that Cobra came out, though, I knew shit was going to hit the fan and it was downhill from there. Ariana, through shenanigans, is able to win, and she is the new TNA Knockouts World Champion. Okay, let me prepare myself. Carlos Silva and Anthem and TNA. I have to call you guys out a little bit because I don't understand why we are continuing, like every so often, we continue to hot potato the TNA Knockouts World Championship between TNA and NXT. I don't understand. Like, this is like the fifth time in the last 6 months that a NXT star has held the TNA Knockouts World Championship. I don't understand why we are giving our women's title to NXT and NXT does not allow TNA stars to hold any of their championships. I know NXT would never let their women's title come on over to TNA, but we have a North American championship, we have a women's speed championship. You mean to tell me that we can't have a TNA star even hold the mid card titles? That's freaking crazy to me. And it makes it really hard for me as a fan of TNA when this title is being hot potatoed between TNA and NXT stars. It makes it really hard for the TNA, repeat, TNA Knockouts World Championship to have its own identity because it's being marred by championship reigns of NXT stars. And these NXT stars end up having longer reigns than our TNA folks do. And it really irritates me because to me, TNA doesn't take their women's division seriously. They don't treat them seriously because this title's being hot potatoed. And NXT seems to be getting more out of this than TNA does. It's so frustrating. Now, what's probably going to end up happening is that Lang Lee is going to go back to the tag team division. So her and Zaire Brookside and the Angel Warriors are going to be fighting for the tag titles, which is cool and everything. But with Jody Threat winning a chance at the title and Danny Luna, who came out in the middle of this match because she wants her match in the wings, I'm really hoping that Ariana does not hold this title long. I want her to lose it at Sacrifice or at Rebellion. If she goes past April as champion, I'm gonna be kind of upset, and TNA won't hear the end of it. The match itself was really good. I just hate that Ariana is our champion, not because I don't think she's bad, but we keep doing this to the women's title in TNA, and I don't understand why. And it frustrates me as a TNA fan because I want to see the TNA talent hold this championship. I don't want to see it NXT star hold it because it never gets defended over on NXT. We don't they just hold it just for the records and stuff like that, and it just irritates me, and it frustrates me, and I'm angry about it. So, that has been my TED Talk. I this the match itself was not bad. I just hate the decision making, and I'm trying to understand where President Carlos Silva and Anthem is coming from when we keep doing this, but I don't work for the company, I don't get paid by them. Not my monkey, not my circus, but I want more for our TNA Knockouts division, damn it, and it frustrates me. All right, let's keep going though. So after this match, we get our 8-man tag team match. And honestly, this match and the following match was definitely the strongest two matches of the night. I think Order 4, I still hate the name, But I think this match was really good because Mustafa Ali, the Great Hands, and Agent Zero, I think individually they're all great. And I really, really enjoyed this match. So the Hardys and the Righteous take on Order 4. This was a really fun back and forth between these two teams, the 8-man tag. And you know what? Order 4 really needed to win this match because, especially since we're going to continue the Hardys and the Righteous feuding at some point, and I was happy to see Order 4 pick up the win. I thought everyone did a good job. Agent Zero continues to be fun to watch. I think he's a really good wrestler. I'm like, how is this man up pushing 50? It is nuts out here. But it was really fun. Again, the Hardys and the Righteous are in this weird will they, won't they kind of situation. But I had a good time with this nonetheless. I don't really have much to say. I thought this was a really solid match. I don't have a lot of notes on it because I was watching it most of the time and I was very enthralled. So Order 4 picks up the victory here, and we move on into our main event, which is a tag team match, which I had lots of questions about because we got no story plot lines for this. But it is our TNA World Champion Mike Santana and our TNA X Division Champion Leon Slater taking on Nick Nemeth, who still has the Call Your Shot trophy, and Eddie Edwards, who has the Feast or Fired briefcase for a world title match. So we Daria Ray kept playing up that, we have option C. Will Leon cash it in? Blah blah blah. Leon is a baby face, and if he's gonna cash it in, he's gonna tell Mike to his face, and we're gonna know when that match is gonna happen. So this match was overbooked as all hell because we got interference from the system. We got interference from Moose. Steve Macklin and it came in to attack Mike Santana, which took Mike out of commission because he brawled with Macklin towards the back, leaving Leon Slater by himself. This was an overbooked match, but hey, man, Leon Slater gets the job done, and he's able to pick up the win for Mike Santana and Leon Slater. And that's pretty much all I have to say. That was No Surrender. I ultimately gave No Surrender a B minus. My reasoning for that grade is that the last two matches definitely saved the evening. They were the strongest two matches in my personal opinion. But there was a lot of decision making that I have questions on. Some matches that were decent, some story threads that I'm trying to figure out where we're going. But what really brought it down for me is the fact that once again, TNA has given an NXT star their women's championship, and it's annoying as hell. But that is going to be it. That's going to be it for me tonight here at TNA for the Six Sided Scholars. And this has been my breakdown of TNA's No Surrender. I'm really happy. I mean, again, as much as I get frustrated with TNA sometimes, I'm gonna be here with my crew every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific to continue to talk about this. And the next pay-per-view that we're going to be covering is at the end of March, which is going to be TNA Sacrifice, which is coming to us live from Louisiana, which is then going to lead us into Cleveland, Ohio's for Rebellion, the next big four. So we're going to be here and we're going to continue to talk about it. But that is going to be it for us here at BC WrestlePod tonight. And that wraps up our week of, post show breakdowns. We got a really fun, jam packed schedule next week. So, of course, we are kicking things off at Tuesday with our AEW post show as we are continuing to build towards Revolution coming up here in a couple of weeks in Los Angeles, which I will be in attendance. So, if you're there, come say hi. Then on Wednesday, we get the double jam packed episodes of, the NXT, and later in the evening, CMLL. Thursday, the Progress Wrestling crew will be back to review For the Love of Progress 4, in which we have new number one contenders for the tag team champions. And we know which woman is now advancing to the next round of the Super Strong Style 16 tournament, which is super exciting stuff. Then on Friday, we have the TNA post show breakdown where we will be reviewing the February 26th edition of TNA. And then we wrap up the week as I am super excited to announce this. But the next Saturday, February 28th at 4 p.m. Pacific, BC WrestlePod will be doing a live watch along for WWE's Elimination Chamber. But on top of that, is going to be a crossover with our friends Sean and Matt at If We Had the Pencil podcast, as well as our good friend Nick from the Nick Happy Hour Wrestling podcast. So come on Saturday to join us. It's going to be a really fun time. But this has been Mikey El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. And from all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you next week on Tuesday, starting with our AEW post show. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.